Hello, everybody. Today we are going to discuss and interview a really, really good colleague of ours, a great business partner of ours, amazing business results, CEO, co-founder, entrepreneur, success story. Lior Izik is with us today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for the kind introduction. I don't think I deserve any of it, but thank you.
We're very excited to do this video today to talk about a couple of components that your team has developed for us over the last God knows how long. And
Years.
primarily a really, really big project that we've, I think, scored some great success in the last half a year. And that's really focused around the Zoho Creator application. Okay, so
Yep.
I'm excited to talk about it. It's been in the works for a little while. Um, a lot of this has been dealt with within our team internally at Sphere, with your team, with your developers. It's been a lot of back and forth. We've done a lot of improvements, and I think we're really, really close to go live and have been using it successfully for quite a little while. Now, I'll go into a little bit about what the app does, what we've kind of developed through it. We've used it in a variety of different ways, specifically around data, and using it towards, what the future is holding, which is really AI driven, analytics
Right.
driven. Yeah.
The idea obviously is for your audience to get familiar more with the Zoho Creator, its crazy abilities, automation, and so on. And we'll talk about your application, as you said. But I think that other businesses, if they can see that as a way to automate their business, as a way to improve their processes, so they can grow financially without growing too much on the employee side.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point because most people go towards the structural, typical software like the CRM, the finance suite, analytics, but they really ignore a humongous piece of gold that Zoho has, which is the Zoho Creator application, right? So maybe
Right.
you could tell us a little bit more about Creator as a whole. What is it, just for the people who don't know what Creator is, and how do we how do most businesses typically use it?
So Zoho Creator will be a low-code application. Bottom line, it's mostly drag and drop, and there will be some areas that you will be able to inject code to do things. As
Hmm.
an example, we are working on the Zoho ecosystem. There will be about 50 business applications. Some will deal with sales, some with marketing, some with finance. As you already know,
That's right.
you're a master in this field. But there will be some cases that you will need to create a component that doesn't exist. One of the things with your company, for example, you told us that when you are coming to a new customer for onboarding, there is a chance that their company is already onboarded because you have lots of customers. You don't know each one of them. So there
Hmm.
is a chance that someone already onboarded them, or maybe a few years ago, they became clients to one of your services, and now they're being onboarded again. That
That's
means
right.
it will create a new client in the system. That means they will be assigned to someone else. So one person will work with this company, and a different person from your company will work with them as well.
Hmm.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So one of your requirements was that once you are meeting with a person, you will have their driving license. You will be able to take a picture. We are automatically parsing the information from the driving license, and based on that, we are searching immediately in the database, and then we'll show you, or this person exists, let's add another deal to them, or create a completely new deal, and then the information will start to be gathered in this fashion.
I think that's a really good tool that we need because a lot of people within specific industries hop around, right? So it's also
Right.
good to know if one person worked within the food processing, industry, if they went to a different potential customer, it'd be good to see that kind of history connected with the name, the details that we can gather. Yeah.
So that's for example a beautiful use case for Zoho Creator. So
Hmm.
Zoho Creator will be able to be some kind of a bridge between the conventional applications that you can
Hmm.
just use and the ones that you need a little bit more functionality.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a perfect way to explain it, like a bridge, right? Where you have two requirements that are not fully met, that may require manual work. So somebody typing in the name, searching it in the current database, but you're saving tons of time,
Right.
efficiencies, labor, mistakes, right? Just by adding that little piece. And I like that it's very data driven. Like us specifically, we love data, right? Like
Right.
accountants, that's our life and breath. Um, so uh, I think that this kind of application serves a lot of different purposes. And because it's essentially, would you call it white label? Like it's just open-ended, like you can do whatever you want with Creator, right? It's not like you have
Yeah.
restrictions. What other areas of potential is there with Creator? Like from a user perspective, does the rest of the team have to use it, or is it just you set it up and it's on the back end just working seamlessly?
Great question. So you can use Zoho Creator as its own application, like the one that we built for you.
Hmm.
You can use Zoho Creator as part of, let's say, Zoho CRM.
Hmm.
We had one customer, still have one customer that they have a car dealership, and whenever they're getting someone that needs a car, they will know, for example, that they need, and it's never, for example, I need a Ford or whatever model it is. People just say, I want a compact car that will not take too much gasoline and will not be expensive.
Hmm.
Whenever you're going to the CRM, you won't have a way to filter in a nice way. You can
Hmm.
filter on one field at a time, or you need to be a very good user to know exactly all the filtration options and so on, which that's not the case with any company that we work with. Usually people, they know how to use it in a very basic way.
That's right. Yeah.
In that case, what we created, we built a widget, which is a piece of pop-up functionality that whenever I have this deal, someone wants a compact car, not too much mileage, whatever, a pop-up will be floating. The customer will select whatever details that they want. When they click next, it will grab the inventory that they currently have, and then they will create a list of all the possible matches. And below that, there will be also more options from dealers that are
Hmm.
working with them. So first of all, I'm giving you your own inventory because you're making the most money, and then inventory from other vendors. So if those are not a good match, at least you can get something out of it.
And CRM can't do that. That's way too high tech for it.
That's right. So this functionality is not really possible in a CRM system. So we created a piece of functionality in Zoho Creator that is being used in the CRM, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
still Zoho
amazing.
Creator.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, right? Because it's just plug and play after all that work. You could just transfer that, show it in the CRM, and your team can then use it rather than, okay, that's
Yeah.
incredible. How often are companies really utilizing Creator? Like, we're maybe more adventurous, let's call it, with the Zoho apps. What is the trend like recently?
Long period of time, I was against using Zoho Creator. That's the
Hmm.
truth. About 1 or 2 years ago, they came up with lots of improvements that made the system a very good system. So we have about 24 people in the company. Most of the developers are very strong on Zoho Creator. We
Hmm.
also obviously have all the certification and all that. And the developers, they're always looking for cool stuff. So they always tell me, we want to build Zoho Creator apps.
Hmm.
And I told them for a long period of time, for years, it's not ready for our customers.
Hmm.
So we tried, for example, to provide a solution that works. And if the solution is 99% working, this is not a solution that I can be behind. I cannot guarantee it. It's not for me. In the last 2 years or so, Zoho Creator is super stable. It's working great. And that was the point that we started to involve more and more Zoho Creator. Right now, we are one of the biggest partners in the world that are creating Zoho Creator apps, and very creative ones. Right now, there is a Zoho Creator competition between all the partners. Right now,
Wow,
as of um, October, we are number one in this competition.
that's incredible.
So we have bunch of business going on in Creator, and we're increasing it all the time, and customers are very happy with the results.
I think a really big plus for your team is the fact that, and it relates to everything that you've done in the past, it's really about you see yourself as part of the business and your business experience and bringing it in changes everything. Most CRM implementers that we've seen, Salesforce, HubSpot, they are not business-minded people. They're data
Developers.
people, they're developers, they just know how to load in data sets. That's it. For you, it's more about the functionality of the data so you can understand the value a lot more. And then 99.9%, I'm seeing that with this project on our end, where the team is just executing to the absolute limit. I think that's really important because not everybody can do creator and to do it right.
Yeah, but that might be for you. So there are
Uh-huh.
some businesses that they will not need a strategic partner. They will just need to have someone that can code.
Hmm.
So I know what I want. Click, click, click. I want this here. I want that. I know the features. A developer will be pretty much what they need. It will be less
Got it.
expensive, obviously, and that will be perfect.
Hmm.
Company like us will be more for your company. And obviously, there are more companies, but you will come with a business requirement. So I have no time to waste to learn Zoho Creator, Zoho CRM, Zoho Forms, Zoho Desk,
Hmm.
and all the billion applications. I need 1, 2, 3, 4. I need it to be done. I need to go to the customer
That's
very
right.
quickly. I need to take a picture. System automatically need to tell me if the customer exists. If it
Hmm.
exists, it will show me the next steps. There will be forms. I don't want to think about the information to collect. The system needs to tell me. If the person doesn't exist, it will ask different questions. If the person will have, in your case, for example, will have an holding company and an opco company, it will ask different questions. If the person will have companies in the States or in Canada and so on, the system knows how to behave based on those questions. The answer will motivate the next of the application versus a human thinking, okay, if this person have an old co
Yeah,
and operating co,
it's not possible to get to perfection, unfortunately, you know?
and imagine you with your experience, what about junior account managers?
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
lost. They have
Yeah.
no chance to make it right.
Nor do they care, right? It's one of
Right.
those things where with data, you just punch it in, you move on, and the problem down the road will get fixed by somebody else, most likely,
Or
right?
not.
Or not, or sit there in the background forever. So I applaud you and your team for doing this right because it's
Thank you.
again,
Thank
I
you.
I think that the possibilities are endless, right? And I think a lot of the time people typically focus on the external aspect of it, but I think internally creator can be used as well, right? So
Mhm.
like for example, one of the next things that we want to develop is testing system internally for current clients on hand. So it has nothing to do with the intake process, nothing to do with sales, but more how do we manage internally, right? Because most apps you're like, okay, this is like outwards facing. It's all about the customer, but we're gonna start using Creator to also build something in-house for us
Right.
internally.
We have customers that we show them Zoho People, which is a HR application, and they thought that it will be too big for them.
Hmm.
And we created for them a much lighter application that can do attendance and can do vacation and time off, manage commissions, and all that is in Zoho Creator, super,
It's
super light.
incredible.
And that works well. Obviously, it can be done also for internal use, no problem at all.
Yeah, I guess like exactly like you said for the bridge aspect, right? You just said a whole bunch of different pieces that are a little bit from here, a little bit from here, but then you come and bring it together in one area. It's like a customizable analytics almost where you can take that to the next step and actually plug and play it in different areas to do functionality, not just to
Right.
show you data, right? So I think that's a really good point.
You know Zoho inventory, obviously, and you know all the small problems with it.
Yeah.
So there are some things that Zoho inventory cannot do. We are now experimenting with one of our customers that they have a bunch of clinics in the States with lots of inventory. And when they receive inventory, they need to track the batches in a certain way and so
Hmm.
on, which Zoho inventory is not doing it in the best way possible. So we're creating a Zoho Creator application to manage their inventory which one of our employees that he used to work in Zoho for a long time, especially in the Zoho inventory area. So he already created applications like that. We recruited him to our company not too long ago, and he's now working on an application for this client that will manage inventory, and it's able to bridge the problems that Zoho inventory cannot do in a good way.
That's incredible. I don't think a lot of people don't understand the possibilities here because it's so dynamic. I think that's a really big point of creator. I'm ecstatic. I'm excited to have this project continue. And for us, it's always like a work in progress. There's always something to be added, always
Always.
something to be modified. But I do want to thank you for coming out and talking to us today and just sharing your point of view because I think a lot of people don't see that side of it for the apps that, for example, are not being like marketed as crazy and are not being pushed. Like creators, something that is super like a crazy application that people don't really, see off the front, right?
Yep.
So thank you for your time.
Thank you. And if anyone needs any services, we are amazing business results.
Awesome. Well, thanks
Simon,
again.
thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Anytime. Anytime. Always a
Thank you.
pleasure.